I'd be remiss if we kept going without mention Damar
Yeah.
Hamlin, the news and the terrible at the time tragedy that was on the field and stopped the NFL world and the collective world at large. And Damar Hamlin, great news today. Got to leave the hospital and head back to Buffalo. I loved
It's
and
been
I wrote,
a week. It's been a week.
which is insane. Here is a young gentleman. I'm sure you guys all know, but if you don't, of course, he went into cardiac arrest. Thank God for the first responders, the trainers, Danny Kellington, and the whole staff that were able to revive him on the field, and all the medical professionals at the University of Cincinnati who gave him such great care. But it really is remarkable what this young man went through and his ability to already be released from the hospital. I loved what I wrote it down. He said, "Watching the world come together around me on Sunday was truly an amazing feeling." So this was yesterday at the collective, the NFL wearing circle the number 3 and the 30. Anyways, the outpouring of support. And he said, "The same love you all have shown me is the same love that I plan to put back into the world and more." Like, in a world where everybody it has dissension, it felt like this was the first thing in a really long time that people were unified on. And there was, and there's always the occasional assholes along the way that will find some reason to not put the spotlight on what really matters. But independent of that, the only thing that matters is that it felt very special to watch a terrible situation, thank God, not turn out tragically, and that he's able to articulate his feelings like that. And the money that was raised for his, the Toy Foundation, over $8 million, and all the good that came out of a terrible situation is really special. And it shows what a special community the NFL is, and sports at large, that something terrible can happen, and the ability to, rally together is really special. And one of the many reasons we love sports. I know.
Incredible. I don't know. We don't get to cover the Bills very much on Fox because we're very much tied to the NFC. And I've said to my husband, I've said to you a lot over this last week, I wish I knew that team a lot better than we do. Hopefully, in the next couple of years, we're going to get to cover them a lot more. But the stories that have come out about this kid have been amazing. The stories of just Josh Allen's leadership, Sean McDermott's leadership, the trainers, as you've mentioned, are incredible. The hospital, Greg Olson we were all talking about it, as everybody's been talking about it, at dinner the other night. And I don't want to misspeak on anything, but he got in contact with his old athletic trainer / doctor with the Carolina Panthers, and kind of was running us through the fire drill / pit stop of what happens when a player is down and maybe showing some distress, because it was pretty amazing to see. And I know from my husband being, playing in the NHL, like we always go, if there was an injury, I would call the assistant trainer right away or text and be like, how bad is it? Then the head trainer would call me. We know the doctors, all that. We were kind of amazed that the assistant trainer administered CPR right away. And Greg was kind of going through, and again, I don't want to misspeak because I don't want to be ignorant, what has to happen. And it's like all hands on deck, and everybody is well educated and informed on what to do. So first person gets there, they check the head, they check for breathing, neck paralysis, all that. It just matters in the sense of who's getting to the player first, not I'm the assistant, I'm the head, I'm administering CPR.
Throw out hierarchy.
Of what happened. Exactly. Regardless of what happened, everyone performed their jobs. And even little things, and I'm so glad the general manager of the Bills mentioned this, even the equipment staff. I mean, you forget about it. They have to run up with the drill to get the screws off, to get his mask off, to start administering CPR, to cut the uniform. It's just,
every second matters
heroes,
in that moment.
Amazing. You guys are rock stars. All of it.
I just can't imagine. And here's the other part about it too: the poise in the moment when everyone. I mean, and that is why it takes a very special person to do what they do in the medical field, and just to have, like, when you in that moment, to have the poise to know exactly what to do, because every single second is so critical. But yes, most importantly, with the incredible efforts of everyone, Damar Hamlin is released from the hospital today, being Monday, and gets to go home, which is just so remarkable.
Ridiculous. I'm interested for when, I'm sure you'll go out and do an interview this week for the playoffs or whatever, but seeing guys and seeing coaches this week or yesterday on the field, the hugs felt different.
Oh.
They did for me. I sat down with CeeDee Lamb, and I have met CeeDee like a few times, but never got to do a sit down interview with him.
Yeah.
But I hugged him, and it was like, I almost hugged him a little bit longer, right?
Aww.
The DBs of Al Harris, who works with the DBs of the Cowboys, gave him a big hug. He was wearing, love for Damar. Just felt different yesterday. The trainers, I kind of just patted them all on the back because everybody's like a big brotherhood. It's a big fraternity. It just, yesterday felt different. And Greg made a good point. This is going to change the league forever.